I have to record this video one more time, I'm going to scream. Okay, I've already screamed. I just didn't put it in the video that I uploaded. I need some refreshment. Russia's, this is the pointy finger, not the other finger. Russia's, a local fast food restaurant in South Carolina. It's a great day in South Carolina, and this is Karen with Minni Mouse, and welcome to my channel. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you stick around, maybe hit the subscribe button if you're so inclined. What do I have for you today? I have crankiness. 100%. No scratch. 150%. I have recorded this video, this introduction literally, this is probably my 15th time. Anyway, I have two DIYs, Disney, for you. One of them I have been wanting to do for a year, and the reason I didn't do it sooner is because I waited too long to record it, that you would not have been able to get one of the supplies. And both of the DIYs are back to school supply related. The first one is an autograph book, and you're just going to be using a basic composition book. And this is what it looks like. And the second one is Minni Mouse ears. Yes, you heard me, Minni Mouse ears. And please excuse this one. It's got a lot of glue on it because I made a boo-boo, and I'll explain that when I get into the video and I fix the boo-boo, but there's a lot of glue because of it. I call this my prototype. If I want to make it again, I know how to do it in the future, and it will not be as gluey. Here's the Minni Mouse ears. You're wondering, what is the school supplies? Well, maybe these little dinglies might be a clue. Here it is. They're earbud holders that you get at Walmart. That's what they look like. This is my last year's one. I have to carry my earbuds with me because I have a Google Pixel, and it's one of those where you have to use the adapter. So I carry that, and then I carry my earbuds. These are, oddly enough, these are Zoom. You know, back in the day when Microsoft tried to do an iPod version, these are actually my favorite earbuds. And then I have this little doohickey. It is a converter from a micro to a C adapter. I don't know if it'll work because my phone's acting wonky lately. Anyway, I know you didn't want to know all that stuff, but now you do know all that stuff. Unless I cut it out of the video. So, without further ado, let's start with the autograph book. In the tutorial, I'm going to show you how I went from this size, then I cut it down to this size, and if you can see, it's still rounded at the top and it's square at the bottom. Then cut it down where it's squared on both sides. And then at the end of the tutorial, the DIY, I'm going to show you some other options that you can do. So let's get into the DIY. Please excuse the glare. The light is right above my head, and I am using a piece of glass to cut the composition book. I measured the composition book in half, and then I'm taking a ruler as a guide, and I'm using the utility knife to cut the book. Go slow and steady on this, and after you get through a few pages, you won't be needing the ruler anymore. You just slowly cut it. The spine is the hardest part to cut through, but if you take your time, it'll be fine. And then you sand the edges down. And here I'm showing you where one side is still rounded and the bottom is still squared. So I'm going to even that up because I'll be wrapping it with paper instead of just gluing the paper on top of it. It prevents peeling at the end, so I'm slowly cutting the end off. At first I used the ruler once again as a guide, and then as I got further into the book, I didn't need the ruler anymore. The cover pretty much was my guide. And slow and steady with a sharp knife will do you. And then I sand it once again. And then I sand the top because I'll be using a glue stick, another back to school product. And I'll be sanding the back. This just helps the glue stick to it a little bit better. Here I am selecting my papers that I have. And here I am cutting the papers I selected, which is the classic Minni Mouse red and white dot. And here's the glue stick. I'm adding a liberal amount, putting my paper on and burnishing it with my bone folder. After I finish burnishing it, I'm going to train the paper by folding it over. And I learned this from Sea Lemon. And there I go, training my paper. Then I trim it up a little bit. And off camera and right there, I folded the corners. Usually I trim them, but since this is a book that's going to be coming in and out of a bag, I decided to fold it instead of doing the trimming for extra support. And then I'm gluing down the edges and burnishing it with my bone folder. And then I am doing the back. You'll be able to see me do the corners a little bit better in the back because I was actually in the view. I wasn't off camera. Here I am burnishing it again and then training the creases to fold over. And this is where I do the corner. Like I said, I usually cut it, but this time I decided not to cut it. I decided to fold it over for extra support. Then I decided to put a bookmark on it, and I used my tacky glue, and I just cut a piece of ribbon and glued it to the spine. I had pre-made a spine cover out of cardstock and scrap paper, and I added tacky glue to it, and then I'm going to glue it on. I think I went a little crazy with the tacky glue though. I don't think you need that much. And then I'm adding the embellishments. I don't know why I decided to do the glue stick and then I went with tacky glue. Anyway, I'm gluing it to white cardstock and then black cardstock, and that's the front, the one with the Minni Mouse. And the one with the M is going to be the back. I'm gluing it down with a glue stick onto the white cardstock, and then I'm going to glue it to the black cardstock. And then I switched to tacky glue. I don't know why I did this. And I used way too much glue. And then we're going to go on the inside and we're going to add a pen cut loop. I just took a piece of ribbon and I measured to make sure that the pen would fit in. I think I trim it down a bit. And then I used tacky glue and I glue one edge down. And then I remeasured to make sure my pen will slide in and out pretty good. And then I glue that part side down. After I finish with the pen loop, I'm going to be gluing in the ties for the book. They're approximately 10 inches. I really didn't measure these. So I glued in one and then I glued in the other side. And I'm making sure they line up, and then I'm putting the inside cover in. I just used black cardstock, and once again I used way too much glue. And there's the front cover, and I'm wiping it up and do the back cover. And I'll be burnishing it down, and I'm going to call this book done. I didn't personalize it yet, but I might in the future by putting my name on there. Disney a lot, and I have a fair supply of autograph books that I have made. I let my nephews and nieces pick out the ones they want, and these are the ones that they decided not to pick out. So they're not quite finished, but here's one with Mickey with the gray paper. As you can see, I haven't covered the inside yet, so I could put a tie to it. Then I have this princess one, and I got another Mickey one. Then I got a princess one again. And this is my actual one, and I have it covered in fabric. Hold on, I've got an itchy nose. So you can cover it in fabric, and you can put your name on it. This is ribbon. It's a thicker ribbon than this. Do I have any signatures? Oh, I've got Wrestle. I think that's the only thing I got. I used the polka dot paper. I only met Wrestle. I think I might not have had the book with me when I met Mickey and Donald and Goofy and Pluto, because I did meet those. As you can see with this one, it's got my name on the side. You can put your name on it. If you have a like a Cricut or a cut and scan or scan and cut, you can print it out on using a Word document and put your name like here. You can stamp the name. Those are just some options for you to decorate your autograph book. Well, I hope you enjoyed the autograph book. Let's look at the Minnie Mouse ear tutorial. I mentioned in the introduction that I had made a boo-boo on these ears. And what the boo-boo was, I had glued the ears too close to each other, especially if you have a big head like mine, and you do like this, the ears knock into each other. So I had pulled them apart and re-glued them, and at the very end I showed you how I was able to pull it apart. If you want to stay to that, that's a bonus. You don't have to watch that part to enjoy the tutorial, but it just showed you how I did it. I did actually 2 pairs, and I didn't show you the second pair in the introduction. Oops. And that was a frozen version of my mini ears, and this one cost $4 and this one cost $3. The reason this one cost $4 is because of the bow. I had to buy the material to make the bow. This headband you can get at the Dollar Tree, and it comes with the bow. You just take the bow off. Unfortunately, when you take the bow off, it does take the ribbon off with it, and if I had done it properly, the ears would have hid the ribbon, but I didn't do it properly. But that's okay. Your hair should hide this little cover up. I used a bit of blue ribbon to cover it up, but not sparkly. So without further ado, let's get into how I made these 2 pair of mouse ears. I'm going to start off the Minnie Mouse ears with the bow. In the past, I haven't had much luck with making the bows, but I realized that if I use the iron and the hot glue gun to my advantage, it turns out better. So I'm taking this fat quarter that I got from Walmart for 99 cents, and I cut out a 7x6 piece. This is going to make a 3.5 inch bow. Then I'm taking a 2x3 inch piece, and this is going to be the center of the bow. And here I'm ironing it with a mini iron I got from Walmart for about $13. And then I'm going to fold it to find the crease of the 7x6 in just a minute. There, I can fold it in half, get the crease so I know where my center is, and then I'm going to meet the end to the center, iron that down, and then hot glue it. And I will do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to iron it down to make a good crease, and then I'm going to hot glue it. And then I'll be doing it to the other edges, meeting it in the center and hot gluing it, ironing it, then hot gluing it. and then I'll do it to the last end, give it a press, and then hot glue. And here's the other part where I tend to mess up. Most tutorials show an accordion. I just can't get the accordion, so I fold it in half, and then I put the glue in the center, not all the way up, so it's just in the center of the fold. And then I'll fold each end to the back, and it makes your accordion fold. It's much easier than trying to actually do the accordion fold, because it just doesn't work for me that way with the hot glue. I tend to burn my fingers. I hope that makes sense. After I finish fluffing up the bow, I'm going to work on the center portion of the bow. So I got my 2x3 piece of fabric. I'm going to press it, then I'm going to fold it up to the middle, and I'm going to press that down, and then I'm going to fold the other end to the center and press that down, and then with the hot glue gun I'm going to glue the top down. I didn't feel it was necessary to glue both sides down. Then I'm going to fold the edge over and glue that down using my bone folder so the end does not fray. And then I'm going to glue that, and then I just fold it over onto the back of the bow, making sure that the center piece is going in the right direction. And then I'm pressing it down with the bone folder. I'm folding the other end down. Probably should have done that first, but that's okay. I could do it after I wrap the bow up. And then I'm gluing that to the back of the bow as well. And I'm pressing it down with my bone folder so it will stay put. And then I'm fluffing my bow up and trying to get rid of any extra hot glue. I'm recycling this headband that I found in my stash. I'm cutting off the candy canes because I won't be needing those. Then I'm taking the earbud pouches and I'm removing the labels and the keychains. Right here is the first boo-boo. I didn't mention it in the introduction, but I'm going to mention it here. It's best to unzip the pouches, then put the hot glue on and press it onto the headband. You get a better contact. And this is boo-boo number 2, which I did mention in the introduction of this part of the video. I glued the ears too close together. So, do as I say, don't do as I do. And A, unzip the pouches and glue them down, and B, don't glue the ears so close together. I will demonstrate this again when I do the frozen ears, and I will be having the pouches open and not gluing them so close. And here I am gluing the bow onto the ears. When I saw these earbud pouches at Walmart last year, I thought they would be perfect for mouse ears. But unfortunately, I did not make the video in time, and I could not find them again until this year. And this photograph is a picture of the ears after I adjusted them to the right length. I think they're pretty cool, especially when you can hide some money in your ears. Unfortunately, they're not big enough to put a credit card or a gift card in. But I think they're kind of cute, and they're only $4, and you made them yourself. So the next pair of ears we're going to be making is the frozen ears. I'm now cutting the back of the bow, and then I'll be gluing the bow back together. And then I will be gluing the earbud pouch onto the headband. As you can see, the earbud pouch is now open, which makes it easier to glue to the headband. And then I'm gluing the second earbud pouch. I actually glued these two too far apart, but I fixed it. And then I am gluing the bow in the center. And this one is pretty easily done. I'm going to be taking some Mod Podge, putting a coat over the headband because there is a lot of glitter fallout on this. So hopefully the Mod Podge coating will prevent that. After the closing remarks, there is a bonus section to this video on how I repaired the Minnie Mouse ears. So if you're interested in seeing how I fixed them, please stay tuned. enjoyed my mouse ear and my autograph book DIY tutorial. I think the next video is going to be July and August calendar series. The next series in the calendar pages. So stay tuned for that. I've already started July's. So until next time, stay calm and craft on. To fix these ears, all I did was take a quilting iron and slowly melted the hot glue and pulled the ears off. I got this quilting iron from Michael's, probably using a 60% coupon. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I originally got it so I could melt crayons and do some melted crayon collage. Didn't work out so great because crayons are thick and ucky and gross, and well, anyway, I found a better use for it. I can melt hot glue and do some cleanup with it. So enjoy the process. Trying to get the excess glue off here. I got some of it off, but this material is so spongy it wouldn't come off. So now I am unzipping it and gluing it down in a better location. First, I didn't think I needed to remove the bow, but I ended up removing the bow. Now I'm adding the second ear on, and then I'll be gluing the bow back. I didn't mention in the videos before, I did snip off the portion of the earbud holder where the key ring was attached to on one of the black ones. I did snip it off the other black one, and I kind of wish I did. Hindsight's 20/20. I did snip it off on the blue ones, and it looked a lot better.